Welcome back with another video on this channel. This is our fourth video on OWASP Top 10 2021. I already started the attack box and as well as the attached VM. Let's get into it. Okay, so we're gonna resume task 12, security misconfiguration. Let me zoom in a little bit so it is, yeah, okay, now it is very good. Security misconfigurations are distinct from other top 10 vulnerabilities because they occur when security could have been appropriately configured but was not. Even if you download the latest up-to-date software, poor configurations could make your installation vulnerable. That is very true. Security misconfigurations include poorly configured permissions on cloud services like S3 Bucket or Azure Blob Storage, having unnecessary features enable like services, pages, accounts, or privileges, default accounts with unchanged passwords, error messages that are overly detailed and allow attackers to find out more about the system. That is very true. If you're doing the development, you must know about this very well. Not using HTTP security headers. This vulnerability can often leads to more vulnerabilities such as default credentials, giving you access to the sensitive data, XML, external entity, XSE. I don't know if we saw this before or not in this room, maybe later on. Or command injection on admin pages. That is true. For more information, you can go OWASP Top 10 entry for security misconfiguration. Let's see that, by the way. Alright. So moving up from 6 in the previous edition, 90% of the application were tested for some form of misconfiguration. Wow. And we have detailed information about all of this, how to prevent these attack scenarios and whatnot. Awesome. Let's continue with our studies. Alright, debugging interfaces. A common security misconfiguration concerns the exposure of the debugging features in the production software. Debugging features are often available in programming frameworks to allow developers to access advanced functionality that is useful for debugging an application while it's being developed. Attackers could abuse some of those debug functionalities if somehow the developers forget to disable them before publishing their application. That is very true. One example of such a vulnerability was alleged use when Patreon got hacked in 2015. 5 days before Patreon was hacked, a security researcher reported to Patreon that he had found an open debug interface for a WorkZeug console. WorkZeug is a vital component in Python-based web application as it provides an interface for web servers to execute the Python code. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I will say WorkZeug includes a debug console that can be accessed via URL or console. I mean the shell in the web concept here. Or it will also be presented to the user if an exception is raised by the application. In both cases, the console provides a Python console that will run any code you send it to. Wow. For an attacker, this means he can execute commands arbitrarily. And that is true. Practical example, this VM showcases security misconfiguration as part of the OWASP Top 10 vulnerability list. Navigate to this URL. And it is port on 86. Let's copy this URL and open our Firefox browser. Okay. It will take a little bit of time and let it open. Alright, here we go. We have Flask to do. So Flask is running, I think, Django or something, or the Flask framework on Python. And here we go. Navigate to this particular URL. Okay, let's go to this URL. We have console. Okay, we have console itself. Use the WorkZeug console to run the following Python code to execute the ls-l command on the server. So let's write this one, so we'll build the muscle memory. So later on, once we need to use it in any of our pen tests, we will remember this command and we can even type it from our memory. Okay, so it is very important that you basically type and build the muscle memory. Okay, so we are doing import OS library and then we are printing os.pop in, and then we are executing and then we are reading this particular command. So let's execute this. So here we go, it is executed and we are able to run. What is the database name? The one with the DB extension in the current directory. To do DB. To do DB. Alright. Modify the code to read the contents of the app.py. Sure. So here we go. Can't we copy? Yeah. I don't know why it is taking too long to do this. Okay, let's type it. Right? So print, this is os.pop in, and then we need to read it, so we can cat app.py, then read, and then closing. So here we go. Modify the code to read the contents of the app and which contains the application source code. What is the value of the secret flag? Okay. Yeah, here we go. So this is the value of secret flag. Awesome. So we have done with the task 12, which was the security misconfiguration. Let's move on to the next one. Vulnerable and outdated components. Vulnerable and outdated components. Occasionally, you may find that the company, entity you are pen testing is using a program that with a well-known vulnerability. For example, let's say that a company hasn't updated their version of WordPress for a few years. That is very bad idea. Using a tool such as VPScan, you can find its version 4.6. Some quick research will reveal that the WordPress 4.6 is vulnerable to an unauthenticated remote code execution. That is a very big one. And even better, you can find an exploit already made on ExploitDB. The ExploitDB is a really good resource to get the exploit, pre-made exploit, where you can just plug in your values and you are good to go. As you can see, this would be quite devastating because it requires very little work on the attacker's part. Since the vulnerability is already well known, someone else has likely made an exploit for the vulnerability already. The situation worsens when you realize that it's really easy for this to happen. If a company misses a single update for a program they use, it could be vulnerable to any number of attacks. That is very true. So that's why patching is really important. Moving on to task 14, vulnerable and outdated components exploit. So this is where we will do the exploit itself. Recall that since this is about known vulnerabilities, most of the work has already been done for us. Our main job is to find out the information of the software and search it until we can find an exploit. Let's go through that with an example web application. So here is the application, but how we can access it? 1 minute. Maybe the application. No, they don't have it. Okay, let's continue with what they have. So it is Nostromo 1.9.6 interface 2037 ready for inquiry. What's the story, mother? And then powered by Nostromo. What do you know? This server has default page for the Nostromo web server. Now that we have a version number and software name, we can use ExploitDB to try and find an exploit for this particular version. Okay, so let's do that. Here is the Nostromo. I will search it here. So we have remote code execution. Awesome. And it was in 2020. And pre-made code is here. This is the file name. This is the code itself. Says SOC artwork is there. And then this is the payload that we are sending it with the command, and then we'll read out and whatnot. Okay, awesome. We found it. Lucky us, the top result happens to be expert script. Let's download it and try to get code execution running. This script on its own teaches us a very important lesson. Okay, so is not defined. So CVE 2019 underscore 16278.py. Exploit you downloaded from the internet may not work the first time. It helps to understand the programming language the script is in, so that if needed you can fix any bugs or make any modification, as quite a few scripts on ExpertDB expect you to make modifications. Fortunately, the error was caused by the line that should have been commented out, so it's an easy fix. Just comment out this line, and then once we run it again, and it exploits and give us the command that we execute, which is id. So we are executing this particular command here. Boom, we have RCE. Now it's important to note that most scripts will tell you what arguments you need to provide. Exploit developers will rarely make you read potential hundreds of lines of code just to figure out how to use the script. It is also worth noting that it may not always be this easy. Sometimes you will just be given a version number, like in this case, but other times you may need to dig through HTML source or even take a lucky guess on an exploit script. But realistically, it is a known vulnerability that's possible. There's probably a way to discover what version of the application is running. That's easy, really it. The great thing about this piece of OWASP top 10 is the work is already done for us. We just need to do some basic research, and as a penetration tester, you are already doing that quite a bit. That is true. Okay, we are 12 minutes into the video. We still have a lot of time to go. Let's move on to the next one. So we have lab as well. So here we go. Let me close all others. So this is welcome to the online CSE bookstore. This site has been made with the PHP and MySQL and whatnot. And what is the version basically? So this is project words. Okay, where you will find vulnerable application. All the information you need to exploit can be found online. Before we do anything, let's see if we can get the the version of the application somehow. This is admin login and whatnot, and project world. Okay, so SCE bookstore. Let's search it out here. F RCE exploit. There it is, available. Accept all. Yeah, online bookstore. We have it there. Online bookstore. And it was, oh wow, it is created by Tiberius himself. Awesome. So what we need to do exactly? Unauthorized. Okay. But where we need to put the the URL itself. Yeah. Help is equal to the URL of the target. Okay. So Vendor homepage, software link, which is this one, and that means the URL they are expecting us to pass it in as parameter. I think so. Add parser.add argument URL action store and some other things. Yeah, wait a minute. It's a bookstore application. You could check for recently authenticated bookstore apps. RC. Okay, so let's copy this, and this is Python script. If I go back and there we go. So this is another one. For Python, you need to mention the URL and pentester IP and port, and it will basically give you everything. And here they are giving us the example as well. Okay, it will automatically basically give you the shell as well, right? Okay, I get it. So what we need is this particular code. So let's git clone. Let's clone this. Okay, let's see. We have this one. See, yes, cd cse ls, and we have csc bookstore.py here. Okay, all right. So how to use this? Here is the command that we need to use. So Python 3 sce, then the URL for us is http 10.10.84.210 and port is 84, and L is our IP address, which is 10.10.251.200. As you can see, attacker IP address is available here, and we can mention any kind of port. Let me see what kind of. Okay, port is basically any kind of port. Okay, which is free. So support it, for example, Tetra 8. Let's see. Waiting for connections on port Tetra 8. Trying to find a port. Hopefully. Waiting for connections on. Trying to find connection check. And I should not take that much time long, right? Shell trigger, trying to bind, waiting for the connection, switching to interactive mode. Okay. We run the command correctly, guys. 10.10.251.200, it should work, right? Uploading the shell, triggering the shell, trying to bind on a port. Still working. I think something is not right. should not take that much of time. Okay, we can do one thing. Let's close this one and let's go with 9001 as per 10, 10, 251, 200. Let's do that. Or we can do one thing here. So we can do nc nvlp 9001 9002 for example. Okay, and let's run this again. Maybe we'll receive the reward shell here. Wait, sorry. Use, okay. I don't know why it is taking too long to do all of this. Okay, maybe we were missing the forward slash at the end. Let's try again. I think it's not working. Somehow we need to go with another one. Okay, let's go back and try to find authentication bypass. What about the online? Yeah, here is it. CSE. Were we using the wrong? It is by Alpha or something. Okay, but they are saying that is vulnerable to an authentication bypass vulnerability on the admin panel. By default, the admin panel is located in the admin PHP and it can be accessed by unauthorized users exploiting the SQL injection vulnerability. All right, admin pass and submit the query. Okay, so payload, in the payload we need to pass this particular. Okay, let's try that. So we have admin the PHP. All right, so in order to use this particular vulnerability, we need to open up our burp suite. Where is my burp suite? Here we go. Let it open. I think the other one, the vulnerability is it's not working, so I'm gonna quit it. Let's go through and read this particular file. Hopefully, by doing this, what if expires is not there? What if we what happened? What is happening here, guys? There is an issue. We can go with for example here it is CSE bookstore. CSA bookstore exploit. Let's put it in somewhere. Do we have programming for example? Do we have code? Yeah, we don't have it. So let's go with whatever we have. Problem text maybe. We can directly download it somewhere. Cancel. Close. Paste. So this is all the code that we have. Let me save it somewhere. So for example, we'll save it in the root. Let's go with CSE book.py book_exploit.py. All right, so ls should be there. Okay, Python 3 CSE book.py. They are asking us for URL, so URL is basically this one. Copy this and this, paste. Unrecognized the parameter. Okay, wait a moment. What we are missing here, guys? -h. Positional argument URL. Okay. Here we go. You wish to land the shell here? Yes. And did we get it already? Yeah, we got it. So cat opt flag.txt, and here we go. Awesome, awesome, awesome. It took a little bit of time, but we reached there because we never did this before, right? So this is the process we need to follow. We tried to do it with the CSE_bookstore, but it was not working. Then we went with the original. We downloaded it as a code, saved it as a py file, and then we tried to execute it with the URL, as you can see. And then we were able to basically do the reverse shell, and we got the reverse shell here. And we are able to also get our flag. So thank you guys for joining me on this journey. We are very close, maybe 2 or 3 videos down the line, and we will be done with this room. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments, please mention it in the comment section down below, and I will try to reach you as soon as possible. And given that, we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.